Hello again. Welcome to another episode of the Wisdom of the Tarot. This week, we're talking about the Hermit. Now, the Hermit is pretty well what everybody experiences on their journey. I have heard from so many people along the years the feeling of aloneness, which is different from lonely. It's not lonely because people have other people around them. They're going about their business, they work, play among other people, but there is this sense of aloneness. And this can go on sometimes for years with people. It's a kind of inner push. And generally, people don't really know what this is. They just know there's something. They may ask themselves the questions of, there must be more to life than this, which of course is the title of our videos. They might start asking the question, who am I? What am I? What is life all about? And that aloneness eventually takes them to a time when they want to retreat. Now, the archetypal image of the hermit is like someone who lives in a cave. But the mystics have come out of the monastery. There is no temples, or very few now. People have to experience this stage working in modern life. Now, this image is lovely because you see here this figure holding a lantern with a bright light and a staff. The staff indicates his experience, the experience not of him, but perhaps even worldly experience. And the light indicates the inner light. And it is the inner light that is pushing the person. So it's a feeling of retreating, but as I say, it's not retreating from the world like going into a cave, but retreating within themselves. Constructive self-analysis leads to wisdom. So this is the process where one really, really looks at themselves. Not just the superficial, what job they do, what partner they have, what house they live in, but who they are. So it does require sometimes a process, almost on a psychological level, of helping to dissolve those things that obstruct us, what I call the noise, all the noise. And that noise comes from an array of different things. It comes from parental influence, it comes from society's influence, it comes from genetic influence, past life influence, and all these experiences that people have come to make a kaleidoscope of energy that is unique to every individual. Sometimes this stage has come about through a dramatic experience. And I quote from one of my students who once said, all my constructs were wiped. So it's not exactly the dark night of the soul, but it is the light of the soul that is pushing. So this brings about a period of self-awareness and self-growth. Now, it's difficult in this world, particularly the modern world. Many people would not understand this, and this is where the aloneness comes in. So it's quite a good idea to keep things to yourself at this point, to work on yourself, but not necessarily sharing what is going on. I mean, that's entirely up to you, but a lot of people won't understand, and your own intuition will tell you whether it's right to share things. So this is the journey of the soul, and the soul is the light within. And gradually through this process, alongside the light, alongside perhaps periods of meditation, of quietness, and that's really important in this time, even if it's just an hour or so of quietness during the week, to be with oneself, to see all the things that are obstructing this light and to let them go. And gradually then that light emerges. And it's interesting with this because my experience is that people get very comfortable in this. They get comfortable in their aloneness. They have the tribe, but they do not need the tribe. And it's very often the case that when people are ready to come out of this period, they find it quite difficult because it's comfortable. One knows oneself, one knows who you are. And that's lovely. It's like there's some freedom in that. There's enlightenment. And do I really want to step out again in the world? But the interesting thing about this is that when people do emerge from this experience, they can find that they can communicate with people on their level, not necessarily on theirs. There's the ability to communicate to all sorts of people. You don't have to have people that understand, because the hermit understands. You understand. So this is a very powerful card. And as I said, it is a stage of spiritual growth that pretty well everybody has experienced when they're consciously on the path. Now, do I want to say anything more about that? I don't know that I can. It has some similarity with another card, which is the Hangman, which I will talk about later in the series. But this is a wonderful time to understand, to know yourself, to set aside all those negativities that have obscured the light within, the very soul of who you are. Go well.